got to say on a scale of 1 to 10, and this book just arrived to me yesterday, about 15 minutes before the show ended, and it's called Bobby Brown, The Truth, the Whole Truth, and Nothing But the Truth, an unauthorized biography. And I have to say, on a scale of 1 to 10, I give this book a 2.5. So, I would encourage you to go buy Faith's book before this book. In the meantime, but you know why? Because there's a lot about Bobby that we already know, but it's just, I guess, maybe interesting. I tried to find the best parts. Like, you want to hear when Bobby met Janet and what all went down? I've marked that off for you. And do you want to hear about Bobby burying family and friends? I've marked that off as well. And then I'll save a little bit of the book for tomorrow as well. But just 2 days worth of reading, whereas we've got many passages from Faith's book. And, I was able to act them out. And I was reading Bobby's book last night in the mirror, trying to, get the effect for you all and really give you a dramatic read. And so many times I found myself throwing the book down and saying, oh, hell. Yeah, I'm just like, oh, hell. What could have been a fabulous read full of positions and grams and arrival times and flicking of the blinds and paranoid and, it just sounds like Whitney got to the camp and told him, you put that book out and see what the hell's going to happen. And then Bobby and his people were forced to say, well, Whitney, we got to put something out. She said, well, you better put something out. You better leave my name out your mouth, baby boy. Leave my name out that book. You better not say anything too bad about me. And it just 2.5 at best. We'll be back. I'll read. All right, you ready? Practice so much. Sometimes I over-prepare for you. Damn it. Okay. By the time Bobby reached his third single on the Don't Be Cruel album, he was one of the biggest stars in the world. You know what I mean? With success comes women, a wise man once said. At this time, I probably dated half of the industry, from Janet Jackson to Holly Robinson. Really? From Madonna to the real Roxanne, the Spanish one, and Karen White. I met Madonna early in my career. She used to open up for the New Edition in New York at the beginning of her career. So running back into her and getting to know her better at the height of my success was like a reunion. The list goes on from the who's who and to the flavor of the month. These were people that I just dated. I'm not saying anything else. I'm not the one to kiss and tell, he continues to say. There were also a couple of soap opera stars like Angie from All My Children, Debbie Morgan. Wow. I dated her once. I also dated some models and actresses. There were rumors around that I dated Jasmine Guy, but we were only friends. The same with Paula Abdul. My relationship with her was only friends. On the other hand, his relationship with Madonna was a little hot and heated. She was once caught seducing him in the back of a limo by one of his bodyguards. She was very aggressive in her pursuit for Bobby. Out of all the women he dated back then, he was never really serious about any of them. He was only serious about the mother of his 2 children, Kim Ward. She stayed down with him throughout all of his success and never really interfered with him and the other women he dated. Bobby says of Kim, she used to always tell me, they're not going to keep you in their lives. They're not going to love you like I love you. But of course, I wasn't hearing that. Life was great for me at the time. I wanted and had the best of everything. Ms. Jackson was the best thing at the time in the music industry. Bobby had always had a thing for her since seeing her after visiting Michael's house earlier in the earlier years. During an interview with BET's Donnie Simpson on the video show, he finally got a chance to let Janet know how he felt. He had been contemplating whether he should just put it out there or whether he should hold back. He decided to do it. When Donnie asked him about his love life, he figured that was his cue. Without hesitation, he said, I'm in love with Janet Jackson. Not knowing what the response was going to be, he didn't think anything else of it. Shortly after that, Janet called. Bobby confessed he was pretty excited to get that call. He was like, yes, she bit. Getting a call from Janet Jackson during the days of her Control album was a pretty big thing, and it didn't hurt that things were going pretty well for him. It was like 2 celebrities at the top of their game hooking up. You guys, wait until you find out, according to Bobby, why they didn't continue. I'm shocked but not surprised at the Jackson family and their quest for the Well, considering all the fade cream that passes in that family, you got to figure they would say something like, "We don't want you dating black."
Put that where?
But let Bobby explain it to you as I read another passage. Oh, wait, excuse me. Where's my book? All right, so when we first started reading the Bobby book, I read you a few passages from the new Bobby Brown book, and then I started reading the chapter on when he met Janet Jackson. All right, and here's where I left off. Almost instantly, he and Janet started dating. Their first date was they met at Haagen-Dazs ice cream parlor in L.A. She showed up with one of her girlfriends, and they all had ice cream. I'll never forget it, Bobby remembers. She had strawberry ice cream, and she complained about how she wasn't supposed to be eating it because she was on a diet. I really fell for Ms. Jackson. I never usually fall for women that fast, but she's an exception. Maybe it was something to do with a childhood crush, or maybe it was because she was one of the finest, most sought-after women in the world at the time. I don't know what it was, but she had me open. Now, to backtrack, at this time, he was like one of the biggest male stars in the world, and she had her Control album out. So they were both together. This is like an amazing combination. And there they are eating ice cream. They dated for a while. They saw each other and talked on the phone whenever they could between schedules. It's hard to maintain a relationship because they were both so busy. Her itinerary sent her around the world while his to another part of the world. Damn. Okay, the break is over. I'm going to make a line on the page so I don't lose my track. All right, we're going to talk more about this because it's really something what Bobby says about why he and Janet could not continue the relationship. I'll let you know that. All right, back to Bobby Brown. Okay. I was reading excerpts in and out today. Not really so much. To me, the book on a scale of 1 to 10 is a 2. It's called Bobby Brown, The Truth, the Whole Truth, and Nothing But the Truth. I was actually sent a copy of this book, and I was right here in the chapter where he meets Janet. So if you're just joining the show, it's not rocket science. You'll be able to follow along. Almost instantly, he and Janet started dating. Oh, the Haagen-Dazs ice cream store. Okay. The way their relationship ended kind of broke Bobby's heart. Here's Bobby's quote. I was telling her that I loved her and wanted her to leave the guy she was with at the time. So in other words, Bobby was the second man. Wow. Janet cheated. Wow. And she told me that she couldn't and that her family wouldn't allow her to be with a black man. This really shocked me, so I backed off. After dating Janet, my confidence level skyrocketed. Blah, 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 whatever. Yep, that's what Bobby said. The Jacksons. I guess part of her rebelling then is to be with Jermaine Dupri. Because she got a whole lot of what your family wouldn't want you to be with in that one. Fat at times, short. If you're black and they don't want you to be with black, he's black. He's got the pre-made family. He's, lives on the East Coast. She lives on the West Coast, so it's back and forth traveling. I mean, just a whole lot. Go ahead, Janet. Take control of your life. All right. And you know what? Incidentally, this book touts that you're going to read about how Whitney got him hooked on drugs. You'll also read about their 15-year marriage as a publicity ploy to kill the lesbian rumors with Whitney, and how Bobby almost died 3 times from an overdose. I can tell you one thing right now, because I've looked through this book for you. I see nothing in here about him saying anything about Whitney being a lesbian. There's nothing about her hooking him on drugs. There's barely cocaine talk in here. Like, he'll talk about a little liquor, not with Whitney having a problem. He'll talk about a little weed and stuff like that. But in a nutshell, you're not going to get what this book promises, because I've already looked through it and haven't seen it. And I've picked out the best excerpts to try to read to you guys.